Whoa. Whoa, this is the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. I'll be right back for Sober Wednesday. I forgot my glasses. Whoa. It's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Fuck, man. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can. Man. Sober Wednesday, dude. I am come sliding in. I should start this. I forgot to hit the record button. Let me redo it again. Whoa, this is the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth for another edition of Sober Wednesday. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Oh man, life is a MMA match today. Dang, dude. It is. I'm in the octagon today, and I just been taking haymakers to the side of my head, dude. I fucking need a drink, man. Oh, but I ain't gonna have one, dude. I'm gonna make it today, dude. I am gonna make it today. I'm gonna hit the bed sober, and I'm gonna be grateful for it, dude, because today has been an absolute ass kicker. I don't even know how I made it this far, man. So Sober Wednesday. So I started the day. We went to the skate park, Al and I, and had a rad skate session, completely rad skate session, and then everything went off the rails, dude. It's funny, man. In sobriety, you got to be ready to give it all back, man. You got to always be ready to give it all back and turn it all back over to God, and like all of it, like everything. So today's subject matter, I guess I should read the big book. Read the big book. Yeah. I'm a salesman, dude. It's funny. Someone just called me a salesman. I was talking to him, trying to keep him on the team. He said I was a salesman, and I was like, God, I wish I could sell something. I'm the worst salesman ever, dude. Anyway, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are those who cannot and will not accept this simple program. Usually men and women constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They were not born that way. They have the capacity to, they're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. capacity. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what we're like now. If you've decided you want what we have and don't want to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. Some of us balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we got let go. Absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God and to ourselves and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct demands to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, we're continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for his knowledge and for his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What in order? I cannot go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We're not saints. The point is that we're willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter of the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we're alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he were sought. There it is, man. There it is, dude. All right. We're going to get into some gnarliness tonight, dude. John Smiley, the GoPro kid. I've been waiting for this all week, dude. Ready for the encouragement from a friendly internet friend, Hamish. Hey, thanks, John. What's up, Dan Z, BW, Orangutan, dude? Thank you for providing the links. Jackson, BW, Floyd, BW. Should we send help? We should. You should, dude. Gosh, man, we're in the trenches here. Timmy got stuck in the well again. Yes, he did. D. Birun is here, dude. Looking at the man. LOL, dude. Stefan, yo. John Hart, good Wednesday. Soprano said, nothing like a fat bong rip can take the galaxy, get gas straight to the dome in the morning. Woohoo. Yeah. Bro Smith, Sober Wednesday, 2/19/23. I got the date wrong. Oops, dude. Oopsies. I'll have to edit that. Here, wait, edit that right now. I got the date wrong. Oops. Thank you for correcting me on that. Dude, save that. Bam, dude. Back it again. Don't drink crops, eat them. Right across the deal. Wizard. Jim, A6G. I'm doing all right, man. And Tony Satuli and Hinterlands and Ben Miller, almost 4 years sober. Crazy how time flies. Yes, it does, dude. So, all right, we read the preamble. So I got some emails recently, and they sort of accumulate in a weird thing. It's sort of how it goes. And it was sober people talking about dealing with people they love that are struggling, man. And oops, let's get that. Whoa, dude, what is that? Little howdy doody. And talking about how they deal with people they love, man, whether it be family members, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, cousins, aunts, uncles, children. And we as sober members of Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Or you're just a sober person, like, what do we do, dude? Like, what do we do? And I think that no straw after Labor Day, Bethel. That is just so you know, in Bethel and the cowboy hat in the hat world, you only wear a straw from Memorial Day to Labor. After Labor Day, dude, you can't wear a straw anymore, dude. It's retired for the season, dude. Bring it back out in springtime. so dealing with people we love, and I think this might be for like spirituality and all sorts of things. This may apply is we got to lead by example, man. And there's really nothing we can say. Like there really is nothing we can say, because it's just like my friend I was talking to. They're like, you're like kind of like a salesman about this stuff, and I go, yeah, dude, I could talk to you about this all night, dude, because I'm a believer, dude, and I'm also a professional talker. Like I'm a professional talker as well. But what I was going to get at is we run across these people in our lives that aren't strangers. They're people that we love and care about, and we're watching them suffer, and we're watching them in spiritual jeopardy, and we're watching them in the grips of alcoholism or drug addiction or whatever the addiction is, and we want to help them, dude. We want to make them better. It is a natural occurring human characteristic to want to help people get better. Unfortunately, there isn't much we can do, man. That's the sad part of this recipe, is like we actually can't do anything. And so we have to put our energy into like sort of a productivity that will serve us and them, right? So like the first thing I can say that I would say true is you can't tell anybody to stop drinking or stop using drugs. You can't threaten them. You can't give them ultimatums, because it's just not going to work. You may need to do that to set your own personal boundaries with yourself, because there's a difference between going, I won't allow you in my presence to consume alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. You can set boundaries for yourself. But the minute you point the fingers at them and go, you can't, or you shouldn't, or you've fallen into like a trap. And I like, from my, like, again, from my perspective as a person who suffers from alcoholism, nobody was going to tell me anything. That's just not how it works. In the midst of my alcoholism, you weren't going to tell me to stop drinking. You weren't going to tell me to stop drugging. You weren't going to tell me to stop smoking weed. You weren't going to fucking tell me anything, dude. Because, like, I'm busy getting wasted. And that wastedness has a protective layer. Because, again, you have to understand that when I'm wasted, I have activated the imposter, right? The spiritual me, the true me is hidden inside of that. And so when you're trying to communicate to somebody about this thing, you're not really talking to them. You're talking to the imposter, and the imposter is pissed. The imposter does not like you coming in and trying to communicate with the true person underneath the imposter. So you have to understand that about like alcoholism and drug addiction and all these things, is the loaded being is not the real being that you love. That's not the person you love. That is the imposter that has taken over the person you love and has hidden the person you love behind layers of chaos and anger and defense and all of that. The person you love is in there. But when you go to somebody who's in the grips of alcoholism or drug addiction, and they're your people you love, you have to realize you're not talking to the person you love. You're not talking to your little brother that you shared a childhood with. You're not talking to your grandmother who used to bake you pies on a Sunday. You're not talking to the gal you did the dance at the wedding with. You're not talking to the boy you met down at the beach on a Sunday afternoon and fell in love with. That's not who you're talking to. You were talking to the addict, alcoholic, who has taken over the form of that person. And so if you were to go up to that person and say, no, don't, or this or that, you're going to get resistance, right? And so the trick is to show them the path, right? Is what you're trying to do is to de-arm the alcoholic, so that the real spiritual person trapped inside the alcoholic can begin to see what's going on, because what the person inside is looking for is a moment when the alcoholic jailer drops their guard, right? For me, from my experience, it happened in front of Country Liquor, drunk out of my mind when Joe Shaughnessy and David Brune pulled up in front of the liquor store, and I had that moment of clarity. My true spiritual self was able to get through the drunken facade of me and beg for help from that stranger. There was no amount of people that could have ever talked to the alcoholic me and gotten through to me. It was only when I, inside of myself, found the opening to ask for help. And so when we deal with the people we love, it's especially hard because we want to help them, dude. I've seen this over and over in as a professional in the world of recovery, worked at rehabs and sober livings and been sober companion and done all that stuff, but also been volunteering as a member of AA my entire sobriety to be of service to my fellow alcoholics. The most dangerous thing you can do is almost try to help, dude. You got to let them fall, and so that they ask you for help. See, if you try to stop them from reaching the bottom of their alcoholism and drug addiction, you're not really helping them, because they have to make the decision themselves. They have to be in enough pain to ask you for help. And when they ask you for help, you got a small window, dude. You have a small window to help them, because remember, dude, usually when people ask you for help, it's because they're loaded at the time and their true self is able to get through the jailer of alcoholism and pick up the phone or ask for help. It's sort of like a kidnapped person. You know, there's like that weird sign that they have when a woman's been kidnapped and they're out in the thing and they flash that hand signal. It's sort of like that. You as a sober person are waiting for the signal, the gesture, and it's 4 letters, HELP. They'll say it, and then you go into action, right? And you got to act quick. And so what I'm trying to say is with the people that you love, you have to kind of lie in wait. You sort of have to be the hunter. You have to sort of sit in your tree stand and wait for them to walk through and look into the side of your sober gun, dude, and wave for help, dude. And the minute they do, you can help them. But it's not until then that you can truly help them. As many people know, like the story of people being sent to rehabs and sober livings are infinite, man. And you'll talk to most of those people. It didn't work. It didn't work at all, dude. You will talk to people that have been forced into AA by a judge for a DUI, or because their wife can't put up with them anymore, or because their husbands are are crazy, or their children say no, or their best friend drags them in there. And it just doesn't stick. I got an email from one of you out there. You know who you are. And they sent me a picture of the paddle out for their friend who died in this disease. And they wrote me their whole story about how they tried to help their friends, and they'd gone and confronted their friend and did an intervention with their best friend, and their best friend never talked to him again, and ultimately died. Ultimately died. And what I guess what I'm trying to say is this is such a delicate tightrope, this disease, that you got to be ready for that. Like, look, if you're willing to go in and tell them the truth and set up the boundary, then you're willing to tell them the truth and set up the boundary, dude. And you can't have any second guessing that. And what I'll tell you is most people who have that intervention experience don't respond well to it, dude. And again, I'm not saying not to do it to someone you care about. I think that there's nothing more powerful than a group of people that care about somebody getting together with them and putting up some very firm boundaries. But what I guess what I'm trying to get at is most of these things go with the you're an asshole for drinking and you fucked up and this and that and blah blah blah, versus like, look, I love you so much, I can't have you participating in my life drunk like that, dude, or drugged up like that. You're not welcome in my house under those conditions. And that's not going to go over well, man. And that's why, like, many of us who do, I'm not going to say me, because I'm pretty versed in it, but like, that's why there is Al-Anon. Al-Anon is out there for those of the loved ones, man. And just because you're a sober guy or gal doesn't mean that you shouldn't go to Al-Anon if you're dealing with someone that you love who is in the grips of drug addiction and alcoholism. Because the first thing you have to realize is that the first person you have to help is yourself. Like, so if you're dealing with somebody that you love in your immediate like love circle, right? Like, see, it's easy to talk to a stranger because there's no like real skin in the game, dude, right? You can go up to it. Someone can call me up and be like, hey, like, and I can be like, no bullshit, straight to the core about it, because I don't know them. I don't really know what's going on, and I don't have to. I'm not invested in their life, and there's no skin in my game. So many of you have called me, and I've straight up told you, like, stop being a pussy, dude, like, and been brutal, and it's worked, because I'm not a soft guy. But that's with people that I don't know. And I don't know if I'm the right person to confront alcoholism and addiction in people that I love. I don't know if I have the capacity. Someone was asking me recently, how would it go if it was my child? My child, dude. My dude. Even the concept like almost brings me to tears thinking about that as a possibility. I drive around a lot and I see a lot of broken people roaming around, right? You see them walking around. And every time I see them, I go, that was a kid once, man. That was someone's kid, dude. And then I always like, I look at my own child and I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like the scariest concept ever, dude. And someone asked me, like, what would you do if it was your child? And I would be like, I would have to bring in outside help, because I could not do anything but want to rescue my child or my loved one. And that, from what I've seen professionally and both as a member of AA, is the most dangerous thing you can do, is to rescue. you can't rescue until that help has been requested. Nobody, I sometimes think about what it was like for my parents to watch me be an asshole alcoholic for decades. And I wonder, man, I can't even imagine like the weird conversations they had. What are we going to do with him? Is he, what's like, I remember in the midst of, I must have been, so I got sober at 40. So I must have been in my late 30s, dude. I had moved, I was living back in Malibu again in my thing. And I remember one time distinctly, like rounding the corner at the supermarket and seeing, like rounding the corner and like, when you round the corner and like, there's like, you're at one end of the supermarket, you round the corner and seeing my mom and just turning down the next lane and just beelining it out of the store because I was hammered. I always wonder what that moment must have been like on the other side of the aisle, right? Seeing your adult child beeline away from you. And that was the only decent thing I could do. That was the only decent thing I could do. I remember talking to my mom once in this period. What? I don't know. Where are your keys? Where was it? Yeah, just I'll handle it in a minute, dude. Hold on. I gotta take a time out. What's going on? Might be a longer intermission than I thought. Just hang in there with me, dude.
My dad's doing something, so yeah. I was just keeping them occupied.
Oh, yeah. All right, and so where was I, dude? We're back. Yeah. So I remember. I remember that period. Maybe a couple years before that. I remember I talked. My mom would call me and I would be like, look, I remember being very rude about it, and not in the maybe in a genuine. I said, I will call you back when I have something good to say. Until then, just don't make contact with me. Because like in that stage of my alcoholism, man, like, you're angry. There's like a level of like anger when you're trapped in drug addiction and alcoholism that only those of us who have been there will truly ever understand, man. Like the anger I had at the world, at myself, and people trying to help me. Like that's what I mean is working, like dealing with your loved ones. Like they'll be mad at you for trying to help them. Because see, the thing that like us as alcoholics that we understand is how messed up we are. Like that's why we're still drinking, man. And we know that we are. And so when you have somebody who loves you telling you that you're a fart bag and you're blowing it, and if only you could get help, it doesn't come across as helpful. It comes across as another reason to have another drink, dude. Like that's what I'm trying to say is like when we're dealing with our loved ones, man, we're in a real tricky situation, dude, because the people that we love that are caught in this thing, they ultimately want help, but they don't know it yet. See, I didn't know it when I made that phone call, when I talked to my mom that time, or when I saw her in the supermarket. I didn't even know I wanted help yet. I wasn't that far along. I wasn't far enough into my misery. It wasn't until the end. It wasn't until the end when I was sitting up at that abandoned pool up on top of the world, wishing for mushroom clouds. I remember distinctly, like one night sitting up there. Thank you, honey. Sitting up there. Sitting up there towards right before the end, realizing how much I wanted to fix the situation with my parents. You got to remember at that time I was pretty much alone. So, but I remember distinctly sitting up there drinking one night right before I asked God for help, going like, I don't have a lot of time to like fix this with my parents. Like anything could happen. And I distinctly remember that. And that was like right at the beginning of the end. Was having these realizations in the midst of my drinking. See, like I had so like everyone had so allowed themselves, and I'd so isolated myself that I was able to sort of reach this moment of like true loneliness in the midst of, like, see, that's what they say is like it doesn't work anymore. See, my friend used to be like, my friend in the midst of it all was my drunken self. See, I could entertain myself. I could tell stories and write stuff and the crazy man, right? And then it stopped working. Like the alcohol stopped working. It stopped. My little little buddy, my little drunken me stopped showing up. So I had to start like looking at myself and being like, fuck, man, this sucks. And then I remember at the end, like it wasn't until that night that I got down on my knees and I asked God for help with no conditions. I didn't say, God, get me out of this foxhole. I didn't say, God, like I just said, God, help me, dude. I don't want to do this anymore, man. This sucks. God, help me, man. And lo and behold, 3 days later, dude, God sent in 2 of his messengers in front of a liquor store, and the drunken me had let his guard down just enough where the true spiritual me was able to reach out to those 2 dudes and go, help me, help me. But nobody was going to tell me to stop drinking. Those dudes didn't tell me to stop drinking. That's the only reason it worked. Like if Joe had told me that night in front of the liquor store, you shouldn't drink any more beer. You shouldn't drink anymore. I would have fucking flipped out. He asked me a simple question. What are you going to do with the rest of those beers? That's the question he asked me, dude. He didn't tell me not to drink. He asked me, what are you going to do with the rest of those beers? And that's when I said, I'm done. See, I had to have that moment. And that's what I'm saying when we're dealing with our people is like, I don't know. Those moments might be far and few between, man. Like, I don't know. It might be helpless. They might actually have to go all the way to the abyss. And if they're people you love and care about, you got to take care of yourself. Don't go down with their ship, dude. Don't go down with their ship, man. And that's a hard truth, man. Fuck, man. What do you do, dude? Dad tried to get me off Skid Row, LA, and I wouldn't budge until I was ready. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's gnarly like that. So like as the person who loves the other person, you just got to maintain your own sobriety, dude. You really do. And if you're not a sober person, you better go get into some Al-Anon, man. I like people ask me like like Al-Anon is for you if you're not an alcoholic and you have alcoholics in your life, dude. Like it really is like where you go because you need to be with people that know what you're up against and can help you set boundaries. See, what we have to learn with our loved ones is a loving disconnect. We can't hide the booze. We can't regulate the drugs. We can't really give out ultimatums. We have to just go, fuck, it's your journey, man. I'm here when you're ready. It's gnarly, man. Gnarliest thing you'll ever have to do is deal with the people you love, man, who are suffering. Because especially if you're an alcoholic, like, you know the truth. You know they want help. You know they don't want that. And you also know that there is no amount of bargaining or ultimatums that will get them to decide to sober up, dude. It's so fucked up, man. I don't even know, like, I don't know how I pulled it off, man. If I really think about it, I don't know how I got here. I do know that 2 angels showed up Two of God's messengers showed up carrying the message of Alcoholics Anonymous, dude, and practicing those principles in all of their affairs, dude. Their primary purpose was to help another alcoholic to achieve sobriety. And that was me, man. Fuck, dude. I wish it was fucking this easy, dude. I think about it. I go, I don't know how and I'm not an easy dude. They'll tell you. But somehow, dude, I was ready, dude. And that's the thing is I was ready. I was ready to get rocketed into the fourth dimension, man. And so like trying to that's why we share our experience, strength, and our hope. Our experience, strength, and our hope. We don't share how we did it, because we don't know. I can't tell you how I did it. I know what I did. I don't know how I achieved it. I don't know what I just did what my sober brothers did at that and I listened to them, and I fucking argued with them, and I just kept showing up, man. But I couldn't tell you what it was. I don't know. I don't know what got me from that day in front of the liquor store till the obsession was removed, except for grace, man. Like, I don't know what it was, dude. I can't. I mean, I did all the stuff we do. I went to meetings. I got a sponsor. I had commitments. I battled through it. I blew it. I went on the journey. But somewhere in the thing, dude, the obsession was removed. Somewhere in the thing, I don't know when it was. I don't know. It wasn't like I was like a rocket came out of the sky and I saw it and I was like, oh, dude, the obsession's been removed. It was just it happened, man. And that's why nobody can put this in a pill or in a bottle or in a pamphlet. Like, even if you read that how it works, like, right, like how it works, it's pretty, like, even in how it works, they're like, yeah, I don't know. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed those paths. Simple program, usually men and women. It's a simple program. Many of us do recover if we have the capacity to be honest. I think that's it, man. I think that's the deal, is honesty, man. Is that's the one component that you have to have, is honesty. And I think I made that video a couple Wednesdays ago about the first honesty you have to have is, I don't know how to be honest, man. I don't know how to be honest. Because, right, if you lived your life in alcoholism, dude, like you've lived such a gnarly lie, how would you know what honesty is? That's why I think that the request or the prayer help is so potent, because it isn't based upon anything but a simple truth. Like, maybe that's the first truth that you have to have, is help. Help me. Does it need to be any deeper than that? Help me. I think that it's a program of thorough honesty. Just help me. There's not a lot of conditions on that, is there? So we wait, man. We wait and we wait and we hope that our loved ones will get it, man. Odds are tricky, man. I mean, it ain't over till it's over, right? It ain't over till they're planted in the ground. So And I think that's the thing is like why we never give up either, man. We never give up, man. It's a trippy journey, man. It's like all of a sudden the your roles get reversed, man. And it's all around us too, dude. It's not like that's what I mean is like I made that video the other day about the dead bros. Like I talked to my buddy died last spring. I talked to his wife about it. And we were both like this his suffering's over, dude. Like his suffering was over, dude. That dude he's a rad human being, man. Dude, that dude looked out for me. But he died out of his mind, man. Out of his mind, dude. And we were talking, and she's like, it was really bad at the end, man. It was really bad at the end. And we were laughing about how blessed we are that he's finally done. Like he doesn't have to drink anymore, dude, do drugs anymore. And game's over. Whatever pain it was. Like, see, that's the thing is alcohol is promoted everywhere. It's best if you stop. But that's not an option if you're an alcoholic. Stopping's not an option, dude. That wasn't an option, dude. Like stopping? What was that? No, dude, see, stopping is not the answer. I can't stop, dude. I've only given a daily reprieve, man. I only get a daily reprieve. Someone was asking me about that recently. How can you guarantee you're not going to drink again? I go, I can't guarantee that. Oh yeah, I'm 15 years sober. I'm probably not going to drink tomorrow, but I can't guarantee you that I won't. No sober person can guarantee you that. Unless they're lying to you. See, like I think there's a sort of weird thing that you can kind of like a real sober person admits that there's no guarantee in it, that you may drink again. And that's what keeps them sober, right? Like those people that are like, I'm recovered. Like maybe that's a long time to figure that one out, right? That's a lot of days you got to put together to figure that one out. And Floyd, thank you. Thanks for being cultivating this positive space. Being broken down enough to have the humility to wave the white flag is a brutal blessing. Yeah, that is the only smart thing I've ever done is surrender. Surrender for victory, dude. Who knew? But when I think about it, right? When I think about it, I think about how I drink coffee every day. It's okay. I ain't gonna wreck my car in it. I'm not gonna end up in jail because I drank too much coffee. I remember when I was coming back from a meeting with Joe, and I must have been like the early sobriety in my first like 9 months, maybe even earlier, 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, something like that. And I remember coming back from a meeting being like, they're all fucking hypocrites. They're all hypocrites, dude. They're smoking cigarettes. They're drinking coffee. Those are drugs and they will kill you. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you're right about that. They are drugs. They will kill you. But the thing with cigarettes and coffee is they're not going to kill you today. And you're not going to end up in handcuffs drinking cigarettes and coffee today. You're not going to end up killing somebody with your coffee and your cigarettes. I mean, any of these things you could spill coffee on yourself in the car and wreck and kill people. So don't take it too literally, but. And he looked at me and he goes, when you're ready, you'll stop smoking cigarettes. Sure enough, I did. October 30th and 2000 something on Internet Lake Forest Boulevard. But what I'm getting at is I don't know what I'm getting at, man. It's painful, man. I guess that's what I would say to you if you're watching your loved ones and or your people you love, your friends. I think friends may be even harder, man. Like, because they're your friends, man. Watching your friends destroy their life. That's like that email I got from this kid the other week, dude. It is thought on profit rehabs charging an arm and a leg for treatment to make money off the insurance company. Is it a scam? It's only a scam if it doesn't work. I remember in the beginning I was at my friend's sober living, the guys who adopted me, and there was this daughter of the super famous athlete, and she was young, dude. She must have been like 17, 18. And we were talking one day, and she's like, "Oh, my dad has wasted $500,000 on my recovery. I'm such an asshole." And I go, there's two ways to look at it. You don't get sober, and it was a waste of $500,000, or you get sober, and your dad invested $500,000 on you. The choice is yours. And I sort of think that about like rehabs and sober living and all that. Like, it's only a scam if it doesn't work. And it can work. I've seen it work. There's a dude out there who so I got adopted. When those dudes found me in front of the liquor store, they adopted me into their sober living. They just took me in, right? I was like client number 2. They're like, you live here now, dude. Spencer, Flatto, dude, thank you. And they took me in, and the thing, and I watched all these other people come in, and just the amount of money spent and stuff. There was only one other dude who pulled it off. This other cat, dude. I'm not going to mention his name, dude, but this dude with glasses, dude. He's still sober to this day. I follow him on Instagram, dude. He pulled it off. Most people don't, though, dude. Because if you're not desperate, dude, man, and that's the thing, man, is it's based upon desperation, dude. And if the drugs and the alcohol are still working, how desperate can you be, dude? Like, that's the rub, dude. That's why you always hear, like, in meetings and stuff, like the alcoholics who started doing cocaine, they're like, yeah, I would have kept drinking forever, but the cocaine fucking wrapped it up real quick. And I think that's one of those things in our society. Like, you talk to people that live in like New York City, where you don't have to drive a car. They can hide out as alcoholics real late into their life. A lot of people get sober pretty quick in California because the DUIs, dude. Those DUIs, man. Even though it's not going to stop any of us, those DUIs do get you to a realization a lot quicker than just walking around taking subways and falling down on your face, dude. You know? So I think that it's an interesting thing how, like, you can hide out with alcohol pretty easily, dude. Like the alcohol thing's gnarly, man. Because you can blend. Like I said, it was easy for me to be an alcoholic because I was a skateboarder and a surfer. That's a culturally accepted activity. Like, nobody's noticing you as out of place drinking beers in the parking lot at the surf spot. Nobody is noticing you out of place drinking beers at the pool while you skateboard. Nobody's tripping out that you're living in your car as a surfer, dude. It's part of the culture. So you can hide out in these cultural norms pretty. It goes back to that video I made a while back about like hiding out in cultural alcoholism, dude, where people don't even notice you, dude. So yeah, like I probably lasted as an alcoholic much longer because I was in conducive cultural environments, dude, where alcoholism was hidden behind other people just socially drinking. Like all those dudes I would like, yeah, a lot of skaters get sober, dude, but a lot of them just are hanging aren't don't think that you're like they're just socially there's it's cultural, so they don't even think you're like out of control because you're not, you're just out of control. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. It's a gnarly journey, dude. This life and everything about it. Like, let me tell you, dude, like today I've been getting my ass kicked. I've been really getting my ass pretty heavily kicked here and on a lot of fronts, dude, financially and fucking scary shit. And I don't know how you would deal with it loaded. Like the only way I'm even able to deal with any of the weird haymakers lately is I'm sober, dude. Like I don't know how you deal with any of this stuff hammered. And then again, if I was drinking, I would be like, I don't know how you deal with any of this stuff sober, dude. You know, it's very interesting. But the thing that I think that makes the difference is that in sobriety, like I know there's a solution, dude. It's just don't drink no matter what. Just don't drink. Don't drug. Just don't do that. And you can get to the other side. Oh, what's going on, Chris? Good to see you, my brother. You just keep plugging along, dude. I don't know, man. It's super hard, the whole thing, dude. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier sober, man. And so with that said, let's wrap this up because I'm sort of at a loss because you know that this is it's as gnarly as it is to be sober while the people you love suffer, man. It is fucking brutal, dude. So with that said, let's do a serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference. And as we step out of this thing, you know, this whole stream got started because a friend of mine committed suicide because the meetings were shut down during the COVID and he didn't have anywhere to go and no one and didn't know how to turn for help. And he put his police issue gun in his mouth and took his life. And so what I can assure you is suicide is not a solution. And if you're thinking about suicide tonight or whenever you're watching this video, please call any one of the numbers or call anybody and ask, just talk to them and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with thinking that you need to end your life to get out of your predicament. It's the action that kills. It's not the thought that kills. It's the action. And so with the thought, you can pick up the phone and take another action, which is just to talk to someone. And odds are when you talk to someone, that idea will lose its power. And you can watch the interviews with the dudes who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and every one of them who survived said the same thing. The minute they let go of the railing, they wish they could get back on it, dude. So I don't think anyone really wants to do it. It's just they didn't know they could call someone. So with that said, can someone throw up the what's it, 288? Is that the 3-digit suicide number, dude? Usually I get a bunch of numbers from different places. It's 98988 is the suicide prevention tax. And in Ireland, it's 116123. And ROIUK. And in the United States, it's 1-800-233-TALK. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? It's 1-800-823-TALK, dude. Let me go suicide prevention number. What is it? Suicide prevention hotline. What is that? It is 988. Suicide is the cross. 988 is the suicide crisis number. And there's also, I guess you just hit the 988, dude. It's not even that 1-800-TALK anymore. 988, man, just bam. It's right there. It comes right up on the computer. And yeah, please call that number, dude, before you and 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. 988. And call someone, man. All right. With that said, God willing, we'll be back next Wednesday for another edition of Sober Wednesday. We'll go a little bit lighter next week. Yeah. What do you think about that? All right, everyone, have a blessed evening. Remember to use the name tags and know that God loves you, man. And it's okay. All right. Good night.